Hello, my name is Carx82 and welcome back to my GregBlock series. Just taking a look at my electrical blast furnace. I have cooked up all those nichrome, so I'm going to really quickly just pull these out and throw them in the vacuum freezer. I did rearrange this vacuum freezer so the input is right next to the output of the electrical blast furnace. There is no item that I can put on that will stop damage taken from hot ingots. So, fortunately, gotta take that damage and just heat up. Not a big deal though. Alright, so while these are cooling off, I've decided I'm going to get the last part of the diesel chain, fuel chain I guess in. So now I'm using diesel. It's doing 400 EU per tick, or per 1 millibucket of diesel, it's using 400 EU. I think today I'm going to try to get the Cetane boosted diesel. And this does 1440 EU for 2 millibuckets, or 720. So another 50% more. Obviously this takes a little bit of production here, but I think it'll be fun trying to get this all sorted out. Now I have made a bunch of different machines here. I'm just gonna quickly make these. First one I'm gonna do is a HV chemical reactor. And the second one is going to be an HV mixer. Alright, so that should be 2 quests. Yep, there is the chemical reactor, which opened up a couple things. We opened up rocket fuel. Rocket fuel is a really good gas turbine fuel. Making it the less efficient way only requires air and water, which you have infinite amounts of. And here's the advanced mixer, and this actually opened up the Cetane boosted diesel is the best diesel generator fuel. It can be made with a bit of tetra, nitro, methane, and diesel, light fuel or biodiesel, all giving different outputs. Tetra, nitro, methane is made with ethanol and nitric acid, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. Now, in between episodes, I also ended up switching out my generator here. Here it is. To a turbo diesel generator. This outputs 512 EU per tick. So now this is just notice that's going down. Oh right, of course. I was like, why is that going down? I am running this vacuum freezer at 512 EU per tick, or whatever the, I forget what is it, nichrome? So 120 EU per tick, but I'm doing it at HV. This is a medium voltage, but I'm doing it at high voltage, so it's using 480 EU per tick. And then I have some other machines working over there too. So that's why this is dropping. But as soon as that's done, this will fill back up relatively quickly. So I'm using 480 U per tick, and it's barely dropping because I have this new diesel generator. But what I'm thinking is, instead of feeding the diesel directly into the turbo generator, I'm going to create the, I forget what it's called, Cetane, this stuff, Cetane boosted diesel, and then I'll feed that into the generator. Now I'm going to have to rearrange this a bit. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to get rid of this advanced steam turbine. It's a bit outdated now, and I'm not even making enough steam. I may do an HV one and then do a large bronze boiler, which are the multi-blocks, but for now I'm not going to. Alright, so to get this started, I need this tetronitromethane, which is nitric acid and ethanone. And I'm going to start this. I have this all written down, what I need here. So I'm going to do this chemical reactor. I'm going to do this recipe, this 30U per tick, so I can do it in an LV reactor. Water, oxygen, and nitrogen dioxide. And to get nitrogen dioxide is nitrogen and oxygen in a chemical reactor. And then nitrogen is I can just get this from a centrifuging air, which I actually already have set up here. As you can see, I have already connected the there's my ruby dust for Chrome. I have connected it with all my wires. I have a whitelist on there. Until I get the nitrogen, I can't put the whitelist on. I need well, I could use that, but anyway, I'm just going to leave that for now. So to get this nitric acid, I set up another little offshoot here. So this is a medium voltage transformer into another battery buffer. I had this underneath, but I've moved it. So what's going to happen is the HV comes in, gets transformed into the MV, which is, I think, right under here. Yeah, there's my MV battery buffer. So the HV voltage comes in, gets transformed down into the MV battery voltage, which has 16 batteries here. And then that gets sent to these two transformers. So they transfer it down into LV, and this is the 16 battery slot, and then I have a 9 slot over here, which this is 8x tin cable, so I'm not going to have 9 batteries in here. I might just have one more, but I don't want to fill that last one. And I can't I wish you could put something in there to block it, but you can't. All right, but for now I'm going to put these 2 chemical reactors here. Now to make the nitrogen dioxide, so I need nitrogen and oxygen. And I'm going to be having all these, like, pumping out of these tanks and stuff, but for now, while I'm recording this, I'm just going to do it kind of manually here. So let's do, I don't know, what do I need? It was 2 to 1 nitrogen dioxide, yeah. So 1 nitrogen, we'll do 8 and 16, how about? Let's do 8 nitrogen. I do actually have nitrogen dioxide around here, I think. I have made it. I thought I did. Oxygen, chlorine. Yeah, nitrogen dioxide over here. So I already have some, but I haven't done it with these yet. And then we get 16 oxygen. And then we'll throw this in here. So 8 nitrogen, 16 oxygen. Now that... Oh, I need the... Don't I need like a... Yeah, I need one of these. Now I could just do... There's other recipes, but like if I had oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen, I could put it in a HV chemical reactor and make nitric acid. It'd be 1 step, but I don't have that yet. So nitrogen dioxide needs oxygen, needs a 1. Program circuit 1. Oh, I made another chest here. I have all my circuit stuff, and then I have this kind of random stuff chest, just to make it a little easier to find stuff I need. Alright, so this one should go in here, and hopefully... Yeah. Alright, so that's making nitrogen dioxide. Now this... This this recipe requires 30 EU per tech, so it needs to be relatively close to the battery buffer to get enough power. If it's farther down the line, it would be having issues. I would have to throw a battery in here. Anyway, so that's going to make nitrogen dioxide. I think I'm going to have it. Yeah, we'll automatically output to that. And then nitric acid is going to be, yeah, this one. So nitrogen dioxide, then I'm going to need to put oxygen and water in here. So I don't know how many. Oh, I'll just do 16 and 16, I guess. Eventually this is all going to be kind of like backlogged. I do have water underneath here. Maybe I could pump water into the front of this. I don't know. This is kind of in the way. This I will figure out. Yeah, I don't particularly want a line. I don't like being able to see it. Maybe in the back, I'll pump it up through the back. Nope, that's there too. Anyway, that I will figure out kind of in between episodes. This isn't going to be how I want everything set up for like my final build. This is going to be a bit kind of wires all over the place. I need a bigger tank over here, so this just fills up more while I'm doing other stuff. Alright, anyway, so does this got... Right, I need to have this outputting to the right. Right, there we go, and then I will put the oxygen in here and water. And then do I also need a 4? So I need another circuit. Luckily I have a lot of these circuits made already. I did say 4, right? Well, that won't work if it's not. There we go. Alright. Okay, so unfortunately this, yeah, this is the problem. This recipe also uses 30 EU per tech. As you can see, it's one farther down the line. So it is actually not getting enough power. It's the EU is slowly dropping. So I'm going to throw this in here for now, and then I'll figure out maybe... Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure this one out. I wonder if I could... No, I doubt you can pull out batteries. Like pull out a battery from here, put it in here, and pull out this one and send it back kind of thing. I don't know if that would work. Alright, so there is our nitric acid. Now, I'm thinking this will backlog, so this is not going to be running. I might just have to switch this out every once in a while. Okay, so there is our nitric acid for this. Now the second part is this ethanone. To get this ethanone, I need this sulfuric acid with acetic acid is one way to get it. There's multiple ways to get this. Like I could do acetone in a distillery. Acetone is this cumene stuff, but I do not produce this enough to... I don't produce enough of benzene and propene. I'd be going through tons of steam crack light fuel. So what I'm planned here to do for this ethanone is got lost there. I want this acetic acid with sulfuric acid. Remember, I'm making sulfuric acid over by my oil production, so I have plenty of that. So this acetic acid is quite easy. It's oxygen and ethylene. So that's super easy. I'm already making ethylene over here with this chemical reactor. Now what I've done is kind of made a backlog here of ethylene. So for now I'm just gonna put this in the reactors with these empty cells. So to get this, I need ethylene and oxygen. Now oxygen is easy to get, so I may just dump this right here, to be honest. Let me grab one more oxygen. Alright, so that is actually hooked up to the back. So this will feed in oxygen here. And then, I don't know what ratio was that? 2 to 1. So 2 ethylene to 1 oxygen. Let's just dump a bunch of this oxygen in here for now, and then I will... Let's just do 4 for now. Eventually I'll have this all kind of piped out automatically, but for now we'll do it this way. Alright, so ethylene, oxygen, and then I need a... to 2. So, need another circuit. We got 2 here. Alright, so there we go. There's my acetic acid. Ooh, okay. So that's going to have issues. How much power does this use? Let me borrow one of these. I got to figure out best location for all these machines. So, wow, this is using a whole heck of a lot. I did not plan that correctly. Let me turn this off. This may be using too much power in this location. I may have to put it closer. I will check that out in a second. Let's see if this works with a battery in it. Man, it's still going through that really fast. Holy cow. This is an overclocked recipe, that's why. It's using 120 EU per tick. It's 4 times this. This is an LV recipe, but I have it in an LV machine, so it's using 4 times this. So it's using 120. Which I thought that would have been enough to get there. Oh, wait. No. I did this wrong. I put the wrong chemical reactor here. This is the HV reactor. That's why I'm having issues. It's doing HV power. That's why it's like going crazy. I didn't even realize. I should have realized it has a different look. Alright, so let's get this out. And break this. Now, I just noticed there was hydrogen in there. So it put, with oxygen in there, it did put hydrogen. So I have a filter right here. So let me filter this with an oxygen. Here, this is the one I wanted. I didn't want the HV one. There we go. So let's throw this on the back. There we go. Whitelist, oxygen. Okay, so should we try that again? We'll do 2 oxygen, 1 ethylene. There we go. And that. Alright, there we go. So that was using just, that wasn't using enough power. Okay, so I screwed that up a bit. That was my fault. Alright, so there's our acetic acid, and then the next one. It's going to go right there, and then really quickly, let me look at this. Ethanone and nitric acid. So I do need a thing with nitric acid in it. Now, to make sure this counts, make sure you have just the nitric acid cell with 1, and it should count in a second. Oh, I need both of them. I need ethanone and nitric acid in my inventory for it to work. All right. So there is my oxygen with my ethylene. That'll slowly fill up with oxygen. That'll make the acetic acid. That will go in there. I'll have that automatically outputting into here. I can actually set that up now. There we go. So that'll automatically output the acetic acid. Now I'm probably going to have this sulfuric acid. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I will have this piped over to that side, I think. I can't do underneath, can I? No, because that's filling it with water. So I may have to rearrange this a bit, not sure. Or just pump it out the side, or the front, maybe, and around and all sorts of stuff. I don't know, I kind of like having all the pipes and fluids going all over. But that's just me. Okay. Did I? Oh, it's in my inventory. Let me put this back. Alright. Acetic acid, so, and then let's put that in there. And that will make ethanone, right? Is that what I was? Yeah, ethanone. Now this also makes this diluted sulfuric acid, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do this, but I do have a basic distillery over here, which will take this. I need one more circuit over here. Whereas diluted sulfuric acid, I can put that in distillery with a 0, and it'll turn it back into, so 3,000 millibuckets will turn it into 2,000. So I'm using sulfuric acid getting diluted. I can put it back into this distillery here. I haven't quite decided. I may just void this. I haven't decided yet. Take this and put this back in here, and that will distill it back into sulfuric acid. Now this is another recipe that is using quite a lot of EU. So not sure how I'm going to have this all set up. These are quite mana. I always just said mana intensive. These are EU intensive recipes, so I'm probably going to rearrange this. But anyway, so this has got ethanone in it. I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, so let's do one, and that. There we go. They completed. And then I need tetranitromethane. And to get that, is nitric acid and ethanol. Now I need 8 and 1. And to do this is actually a mixer, which is an HV recipe here. Oh, actually, wrong one. It's the mixer is that one, my bad. Chemical reactor. This is a 120, this is an MV recipe, but I'm going to just do it in a MV one. Now I think I'm going to move these over. I might have this on the end so I can pipe in fluids over here. Oh, I need to connect these. Get my spray can over. There we go. They should have EU, they do. Alright, so the chemical, this nitric acid, ethanone, we'll put this all in. There's that, there's that. It's getting enough power. And this should get this tetro something something. Yeah, tetro nitromethane. Now this, I'm getting water off this, so I'm going to avoid this water. So I can do that. Yeah, I'll get one of those fluid things and I'll just have it piped into. I don't want to have it. I'll have to pipe it out with Fluidux. Actually, I could just do that. Let me just. This is my thing to empty tanks. I'll just borrow this for now. I'll have this. I'll have that on it, but I do need. I want to filter on this, so a white list of water. I don't want anything else coming out of this. And I'll put that up there. Looks a bit silly that's floating in there. Alright, so let's double check. White list, water. Turn that on. Why isn't it pulling that out? Interesting. Alright, well I'll figure that out in between episodes. But anyway, so I have this tetronitromethane. Let me see if I put one of these in here. This is obviously not going to. Yeah, there's only. This shouldn't put water in here. Let's hope. So if I do this automatically. Alright. So I guess I had to have this to output, maybe? Yeah, there's my tetronitromethane, and this is, yeah, being piped out. Alright. That's weird. I didn't know it wouldn't pipe out if I didn't have the auto export thing. Anyway, so there is my tetronitromethane. Did I? No, I got it. And then the cetane boosted diesel. Now I'm going to have this obviously pumped in. And this only uses 20 millibuckets. So one bucket of this is going to do 50. Is that right? Yeah, it'll do one bucket of this tetronitromethane will do 50,000 millibuckets of this, 50 buckets of that. So for now, I'm just going to do one in here, one diesel. That'll mix relatively quickly, and there is my cetane boosted diesel. And then I will feed that back into the generators. But I'm going to be arranging all different things, all my different stuff. I'm going to rearrange it. Not sure how I'm going to have this yet. I'll probably have these right here. I actually do quite like these right here. It's connected to my oxygen. The ethylene's right here. Yeah. But anyway, so that was the main part of this episode, is getting this all set up. I just want to get it all animated. Now, I also want, before the episode ends. I would like to switch out these coils on my electrical blast furnace to the nichrome ones and start cooking up some osmium. But I'm gonna get the 4 stacks of wires that I need. I have 2 stacks of nichrome. It's gonna take a while to make these all wires in the coils, so let me do that and I will be right back. Alright, I got my 4 stacks of wires, which go down into times 2. Now, nichrome coils, let's just do that. Actually, when you're using these tools, it doesn't do all of them, it only does 1 craft. So there we go. There's my 16 nichrome coils. Now I know I just replaced these in the last episode, and I'm replacing them already, but I'm rushing osmium here. That is not where I want that. Alright, there we go, and then that is 3600. Now I'm actually curious, does this overclock? I remember in one of the other versions. Now this only requires 1700, but now I have 3600 heat in here. Level 4 energy discount, oh that's a multi-smelter. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. This should, if I do aluminum, it should take 44 seconds. Now that looks like it's going faster than 44 seconds. I could be wrong though. Yeah, maybe it is 44 seconds. Anyway. That is my new electrical blast furnace. Now I can finally do osmium, which is my main goal here. So 3306 Kelvin I need, and I have 3600. Now this takes almost 10 minutes for 1 ingot. So it definitely does take a while at 120 EU per tick. So I am looking to maybe upgrade this into using HV as opposed to using the MV, which I have it. I'm going to maybe connect it to this, and I may have to move this over. I was thinking about maybe flipping it around and running this cable underneath, but I have a lot of rearranging to do so I can automate this Cetane boosted diesel. I want to have this all automated and then feeding into the diesel generator I have down here. So I'm going to have to rearrange this, all sorts of stuff. So I have quite a lot to do in between episodes, and then I want to get into osmium dust production, which to get osmium I'm going to need to let's get it from iridium. There's no chunks of osmium, unfortunately, so I'm probably going to do iridium chunks. I'm going to crush it down, and then I'm going to wash it, I believe, or maybe. Yeah, I may wash it into purified iridium ore, and then throw this in a centrifuge, and there you get your osmium dust out of this. And then this I can get, if I throw this back in a pulverizer, I also have another chance of osmium. So I'm probably going to get a thermal centrifuge and ore washer as well during the next episode. So I have quite a bit to do, to work on in between episodes, but that's kind of where I'm headed. That seemed like it did 3 ingots already. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have to time this too. I'll see if this is overclocking the recipe. I don't know if that's 44 seconds. Yeah, it still seems about... I don't know. I'll time it. But anyway, that is that. So thanks for watching, and have a good one.